Okay, everyone. I'm Chris Marjara, I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at the Access Group. And what I'm going to take you through is really how marketing within Access has been a key part of the growth story of Access and a key part of our success. And I'll talk a bit about how we got there, the MarTech stack that we've obviously used, but more around sales and marketing alignment in particular and transforming the marketing function when I joined, which is about 3 years ago. But let me start off with explaining who is the Access Group. Probably the best kept secret in UK software. We're one of the leading mid-market UK software companies, and we have a very unique approach. We're targeting key vertical sectors as key horizontal sectors. And there are 10 divisions that you'll see in a minute that we target. Our growth, 10, 11 years now of uninterrupted profitable growth. We're over £300 million in revenue, and that's predominantly 95% of it all coming out of the UK, and easily actually a top 5 software company now. 100% SaaS technology focus and 80% recurring revenue. So we've got a very good, stable, profitable business model with over 32,000 customers and 2,500 people and lots of offices around the UK. We're building out a brand new headquarters on Loughborough University campus there. Part of our strategy is really to focus on our people, and we have a high employee engagement score as well as customer NPS scores. But probably be interested to understand if any one of you have heard of us before, but one of the UK's success stories. As I said, industry-specific software suites as well as horizontal software suites. So we're very diversified. So obviously in the current COVID-19 situation, being this diversified means that even though we have a hospitality sector which is struggling, we're finding that our digital learning and compliance and HCM divisions and FMS divisions, our horizontal divisions, are doing very well. So we can actually balance out the peaks and the troughs of the economic cycle, and even a crisis as we're facing now with COVID, that we're managing to do okay. And that's got a lot to do with obviously the SaaS business model we have with the recurring revenue streams. The Access marketing mission, this shouldn't be very new for a lot of people or different to what a lot of people are experiencing. We're acquiring customers, growing lifetime value of existing customers. It's all about building great brand advocates, so the customer at the center of our marketing operating model. And it's, for me, a clear direction of customer success driving advocacy, driving demand generation. So really happy, satisfied customers with a great adoption focus, and getting people to use the software means they're happy, they're loyal, they'll be repeat customers, and then they'll come back and buy more of our suite. We have 50 products within the Access product range across those multiple sectors and horizontals. So we have a lot of cross-selling and upselling going on as well. The key to our success is we're in the mid-market, which means we're a very transactional business. So our average order value is around £15,000 to £20,000. As I said, 32,000 customers. We generate around £50 million worth of new business every year, which is absolutely phenomenal. And the way we go about it is we've created a phenomenal sales and marketing engine, but at the heart of it is our ability to drive predictable revenue. And for the marketing side of the fence, it's predictable pipeline. And we go to great lengths at building what I've described here as a backward sales plan, a reverse engineered sales plan. So we take the order intake targets, understand the different conversion rates by revenue type, be that new business, cross-sell and upsell. We work out how much pipeline we need to generate with the conversion rate, opportunity to win, how long the sales cycle is, so when do we need to create it, and the average order value determines how many opportunities or inquiries, leads that we need to generate. And then we figure out the split between sales and marketing. So on the new business side, marketing, we're generating 80%. On the existing customer side, we have a very large inside sales and account management team, and they'll be generating 80% of the pipeline for their part of the equation. But we are very numbers driven. With marketing with an Access, everyone has a pipeline target on their back. We measure this on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Particularly in the COVID-19 situation, we are into daily reporting on all of our key metrics. And I'll talk about how our MarTech stack allows us to do that. So this is your classic funnel. I'm a big fan of Cirrus Decision, so this is a variation on that. But the business development team, this reports into marketing. And again, a key strategic differentiation for us here is a lot of marketeers that I speak to, this typically sits in sales. Sometimes it sits in marketing. I'm a big believer. If marketing has that pipeline target on their back, this has to work very closely with marketing. And in my case, it actually reports into marketing. And the classic funnel here, I won't go into detail, but MQLs going into the BD team who convert then and deliver SQLs over to the sales team. We measure everything through Salesforce, which is our CRM platform. Marketo is our marketing automation. And obviously we use all the GA stuff, Google Analytics, Data Studio, etc., to measure top of funnel as well. But everything is done through dashboards, real-time reporting. We have a clear integrated stack between Marketo and Salesforce. And then we're also using Tableau to provide trending information, which is very hard to do, as well as looking at the complete customer journey by taking in data sources from GA, Marketo, and Salesforce, and using the BI tool of Tableau to give us even more greater insight and analysis. The key to our success, I have to say, is sales and marketing alignment. This is a cliche term, but if you get it right, this is how you can grow, as we've done in the last 3 years, where we've gone from 100 million to 300 million. I am in very close cooperation on a daily basis with my CSO, Chief Sales Officer. And this is some of the stats that I just picked up in the research. 1 in 4 companies say their sales and marketing teams are misaligned, really aligned. But we're on the right-hand side here. Tightly aligned teams drive 24% faster 3-year revenue growth, 27% faster 3-year growth. We're absolutely proof of the pudding. When you get that sales and marketing alignment right, you have a great sales engine and great marketing engine, and a business development team acting as a join between the two. You can absolutely kill it in the marketplace, which is what we've been doing. Let me just talk a bit more about that sales and marketing alignment, because it is a crucial part of our success. As I said, the joint planning starts with the backward sales plan. So, we agree upon the win rates. This isn't just marketing agreeing on the inputs and saying, hey, sales, this is what you need to deliver for your part of the pie. Marketing will focus on it here. But we look at historical data, because we've built up that data. We've made assumptions 3 years ago, but now we've got empirical data, which means that we can refine our marketing inputs into the backward sales plan. We're also acquiring new companies very regularly. We acquire about 10 to 12 companies every year, and we're adding them to our suite, which means we're adding the targets to the backward sales plan. And this is a living, breathing plan then on a monthly basis. The regular communication is key between BD and the marketing teams, as well as the sales teams. So we have daily, weekly check-ins to make sure we're aligned. We're tracking the data in terms of campaigns that are working, feedback from the BD teams in particular, who are talking to customers on a regular basis, figure out what's working, what's not working. We can pivot, we're agile, we can change campaigns, we can get sales feedback on their own self-gen campaigns, what's worked for them, and can we industrialize them and roll them out as fully fledged marketing campaigns as well. Unusually, joint recognition, marketeers typically moan and complain. It's sales that get the glory. They get to go to their Achievers Club or President's Club. And I've made sure that marketing is a part of that, as well as BD. So we start off with our annual kickoff meetings, which is a joint sales and marketing kickoff meeting hosted by the CSO and myself. We have annual achievers lunches and awards on a monthly, quarterly, annual basis. And marketing, most importantly, participates in the annual Achievers Club. So very much aligned. So this isn't just about regular ongoing communication. We are absolutely joined at the hip and share that joint recognition as well, which I think is a key part of our success. Access has been growing very rapidly. So part of my job has been to really scale up the marketing function. When I joined, there were 30 people in marketing. We're now over 70, more than double the size of the team. The business development team has more than doubled. We started off with about 20, we're over 40 now, so a strong team of 110 people within marketing and BD, with another 300 people in sales. So a pretty sizable team delivering north of 300 million pounds in revenue here in the UK, as I mentioned. But talent is key. We are spread across the UK. 25 offices, but we've got a big hub in Loughborough. We're building a brand new UK corporate headquarters. So finding talent in the Midlands for me was a huge challenge, but we've managed to absolutely achieve that. There is marketing talent across the whole of the UK in all of the key cities and locations. So it doesn't have to be London centric. But what we've created is a very strong tribe in marketing, a strong culture, performance-driven culture, driven by, not afraid to make mistakes, a lot of innovation going on. And really the closed loop processes that we've put in place means that every team has got data at their fingertips in terms of how they can adjust their plans, look at real-time impact of their campaigns onto the pipeline. We are moving to a digital-first, inbound-led methodology and getting that balance around between outbound and inbound. Because we are so divisionally focused or sector focused, most of the campaigns and most of the demand gen is very focused around the target audiences that our divisions deliver to. And we tend to do not a lot of actually brand building at the group level, which you may be surprised about. But that's part of the journey that we're on, is to increase that group level communications while still delivering that marketing source pipeline, which is really the key KPI for the marketing team here at Access. I mentioned the technology stack where I would say world-class users of Salesforce.com. If it's not in Salesforce, it doesn't exist, and we hold by that mantra. You don't get paid if you're a sales rep. We use it extremely well for all of our pipeline forecasting and opportunity management, and then through Marketo and Visible to understand our digital first touches and our attribution model. We really, I think, have pushed the envelope there. And Braco, fairly standard website, BI Tableau, and obviously the full GA data analytics suite as well for web analysis. The culture I want to mention, because it isn't just about the MarTech stack, it isn't just about the processes that you put in, but creating that performance and results-driven culture takes time, and it takes persistence to actually put into place. And in my experience, some marketeers are just not geared up to have that type of target on their back, shall I say. So you do need to find the right fit. We do focus, as I said, a lot on that, but continuous change and bringing in the agile methodology. But for me, it always starts with customer insight. So the people in the divisions, our marketeers in the divisions, sit close to the customer. The closest people to the customer are the most important in terms of getting the insights, getting the messaging right, getting the nuance of our segmentation and targeting and positioning absolutely correct. But for me, my job is setting those teams up for success. So we do spend a lot of time talking about our cultural fit when we're recruiting and hiring, and making sure we have a diverse team and have multiple ideas coming in from or different perspectives to bring to the table. We have a good, strong mix across the team, male, female, predominantly female actually, and it's been a key part of our success, tied to the company mantra of love work, love life. So this is the culture of Access. We enjoy work, but we know we've got everyone has a life outside of work. How can they bring that passion to work is what I strive to achieve. But we have a good work-life balance here. We don't email after 6 o'clock when we don't email at the weekends. We keep that comms and keep that time and give that and make sure our teams enjoy that family time or personal time. So we work hard during work times. And it's interesting that even during the COVID situation we're in now, we're over communicating. We're doing weekly coffee, call-in virtual team meetings, social drinks meetings during the week. We're trying to keep that great camaraderie and spirit that we've got in a virtual world. And no doubt every one of you is facing the same challenges and getting that going. The science and the magic and the art of marketing you've all heard about. For me, it's the magic in the middle when they overlap, and you're really, through the use of data, being able to adjust and refine and look forwards and anticipate challenges ahead of the revenue stream. Lots of companies that looking backwards, very good at analyzing, but what we're trying to get to is into predictive analytics as well. I'm looking at propensity to buy modeling. We're working with some of our investors, our PE investors. HG Capital is one of our investors. They have a suite of data scientists that we're looking to use at the moment, or are using, to create some sophisticated modeling to better understand people that may churn out of the business and keep our churn rate down, as well as propensity to buy. So very similar types of models, different inputs and different outputs, but we're trying to move the envelope in that area as well. And this is, again, just another example of some of the dashboards that we use. Day to day, the team live in Salesforce and Marketo in terms of analyzing MQLs and SQLs and what comes through the bottom of the funnel. Our web team obviously lives in GA a lot, but it's the combination of those three. And you don't need to over-egg it on the tech. That may not be the right thing to say, but for me, the tools have to go hand in hand with the processes, and ultimately, what actions are you able to take when you have all of this data at your fingertips? So it really is about driving the right types of insights and actionable results that you can actually do something with. And I'm a big believer in going deep on a few tools to make sure that you really are getting maximum ROI from them, but it's delivering a common set of benefits across the entire marketing organization. And that means that as we've been able to deliver to the business this predictable pipeline turning into predictable revenue, then we've obviously expanded the remit of marketing within the organization and earned the credibility of it. So the brand purpose didn't exist at Access when I joined 3 years ago. So went on to look at a great brand project and actually creating the brand purpose, classic textbook in terms of researching with customers and prospects and coming up with a purpose across quite a diversified portfolio that we have here. But we ended up with freedom to do more, the ability for our customers to focus on what they need to do to succeed in their business. We launched our first customer conference, Access World, again, for a UK-based software company, not having one of these go-to events, and obviously we'll be looking at doing our one potentially virtually. It's not until November of this year. We were at Wembley Stadium last year and had over 1,500 people join us there, and huge amount of awareness and exposure to Access Workspace, our platform. So we are turning into a platform company here at Access. It is not about individual point products. Everything is surfaced up through this mid-market platform, and we do have this sweet spot. We're not competing with the big guys like the SAPs and the Oracles, and we're not down at the Zeros of the world or the Intuits. We are really focusing in that mid-market of 50 to 500 to 1,000 employee type organizations across the sectors that we're targeting. So we absolutely know where our sweet spot is in the marketplace, and really affordable technology to transform lots of organizations in that space, and not least in the COVID-19 situation. We're able to come out of this fairly well by talking empathetically to our customers, taking into account what they're facing, but working with them to ensure that their systems and processes, their mission critical systems, are best in class and can ultimately deliver what they need them to deliver. And I raced through that. I was trying to keep it to 20 minutes so we could have some Q&A, because I know the last thing you want is death by PowerPoint. So let me stop sharing and
welcome. Thanks very much. You did. You powered through, Chris. There was so much in those slides. That was absolutely brilliant. And we've got some questions coming in, which is excellent. I'm no surprise there. But just for me, I mean, just congratulations. It heartens my soul to hear a company that talks about, when they're talking about MarTech, they're talking about culture and they're talking about people. And I love the fact that marketing is included in those awards, which normally are just like, the sales ones. So that's super. Absolutely outstanding. So well done. So Serge Duskin asks, he says, Chris, what metrics are most important to you to measure in terms of how well marketing and sales are aligned?
We have a number through the customer or journey or the buying process, if you will, but it's the alignment piece. It comes back down to ultimately the KPI for marketing within Access is pipeline creation. So we have a clear pipeline creation goal that marketing has to deliver, and obviously as we're doing that, sales are able to convert it, and then we go all the way back up the funnel in terms of the secondary measurements around MQLs and web visitors and engagement on the web, etc. But the number one KPI is purely around pipeline. And some people say to me that's too narrow. Come on, marketing do so much more. But I tell you, sitting at the board level, as I do, and that's the other reason I joined Access, because this is a board level appointment, and marketing reported into sales prior to that. But the conversation is when you're running a business and you're looking at a SaaS-based software business with a transactional model that Access has, we turn average deal cycle lengths are 2 to 3 months. So it is about this drumbeat of business. We're not in the 12 to 18 month large 500K, 100K deal values where you're looking at different KPIs. So the number one thing that I get measured on at the board is, am I delivering the pipeline?
Yeah, and I love the fact you explained, that reverse engineering. I think, and the fact you've explained very clearly, whether you call it fortunate or not. I know you're under that pressure for those quarterly results, but there are those in the B2B world with 18-month plus sales cycles who can't do that. But when you can, you have to, don't you?
You have to. It's a different case. I've been in larger software organizations in the past, more enterprise software organizations where you do have those 12 to 18-month cycles. There it is more around acceleration, not only about creation of pipe, but then also account-based marketing, which we're also entering into. Some of the acquisitions we made, we're now having to deal in that particular space. So ABM is on our agenda now, as well as tweaking the KPIs to talk more about velocity and acceleration of those longer-term opportunities through the buyer journey. But again, the SQL value, not volume, it's the value. Yeah. So I have a pound notes number on my back.
So to that point about acquisitions, Matt Cheeseman, or I think if I've got it right, he's from Clever Touch, says, great presentation, Chris, a great example of marketing success built around core MarTech spine. And you were very clear about that, simplicity, integrated. I mean, many of us envy what you have achieved. Not easy to, but just you've kept it simple and really powered up from that base. And he said you mentioned Access acquires 10 to 12 companies a year. So what advice do you have? It's a great question for then integrating those companies you've bought and their MarTech and their data and their processes into your company. And that is such a great challenge. I mean, lots of us have to tackle that.
We buy, slightly smaller companies, 5 to 10 million or 5 million in revenue. Typically, they are not as sophisticated as us. So we are able to basically absorb them and integrate them into our stack. So I have a clear policy: is everyone uses the how we do marketing is absolutely prescriptive. We will use Marketo, we will use Embraco, we will use Salesforce. There's no debate. So it's quite easy on our integration. We basically say, what have you got? Where's your data? We will integrate it and import it all into our systems. And that's how we go forward. So we do then, a lot of the smaller companies may be using HubSpot, for example, or other tools. But guess what? Simplicity is a key driver in this, and making sure I've come across the term spine. So yes, we do have a very clear spine, and we play around with little add-ons around the spine, but having that clear spine of Embraco, Marketo, and Salesforce, and then Tableau now, that is our spine. We stick to it. Yeah. We are, we've made some larger acquisitions. We've made the acquisition of Core HR, £40 million business, 350 people. They're using Salesforce. They have a far more sophisticated stack. So we're in conversation now about how we get them over to our implementation and an instance of Salesforce, because we are absolutely prescriptive that we want one system. But at the same time, we also learn from our acquisitions and see what we need to do differently, because they were in the enterprise space and they had some other tools that they were using in addition to Salesforce. So actually, we are in conversation to see whether we carry some of those over as we're now entering a new segment.
And as you say, if you're entering into segments with enterprise, then clearly that ABM coming and maybe some tweaks along the way of particularly around data structures. I've learned that to my cost as well. And actually on that point, Holly Gage asks a question. She says, is your marketing team structured by focus on industry or solution? You showed us the slide right at the beginning that covered all the verticals.
We have teams organized by the 6 verticals as well as the 3 horizontal solutions. So the 3 horizontals go across every sector. So they are the back office solutions, HR, finance, payroll, digital learning, and our cloud hosting platform as well. And then we have the go-to-market teams organized by vertical. These are divisions. So we have 2,500 people. So we have quite a lot of people. And the way we're able to absorb so many acquisitions, and this is a great way we're organized, we're decentralized. We have 9 mini divisions with their own managing directors, with their own leadership team, who can absolutely make their own decisions on their go-to-market strategy. So they control their product roadmaps, they control their go-to-market campaigning and propositions, because they are closest to the market. And then as we're bringing in M&A and bolstering up their portfolio, they are able to absorb those acquisitions and those products and expand the messaging, expand the go-to-market. So it is a mixture of very vertical industry, not quite industry, but it's vertical focused teams. And within marketing, we have those, what I call 9 go-to-market divisional teams. And then I have a shared services team that manage our digital marketing, our product marketing, our pricing, the BD team, and our marketing ops team. So it is a split team here of shared services, center of excellence.
Yeah.
Because you need that expertise, because you want the divisional people to be close to the customer and really be the content experts. So they are creating go-to-market strategies which encompasses segmentation, targeting, positioning, most importantly for me, messaging and content that resonates with their audience. And they've got to create content. So this is a big change around content marketing. You can't centralize that. You can't outsource it. The big change from over the last couple of years is actually making sure those teams closest to the customers actually produce the content and don't simply outsource it.
I think that's a really clear explanation, and I think that will help a lot of companies sort of grappling with that, if you like, that how to sort of manage those two sometimes divergent needs, as you say, being close to the customer, the vertical and their specialisms which you need for content, and then the need for centralization around the tech. One of the questions I was going to ask you is, in those centralized services, do you have a marketing operations team, or does the centralization of your MarTech, is that run by IT?
No. Marketing ops, we own it. So we own the governance of it. They only own, if they get involved, is purely on the hosting or the tech side of it. We manage the system, we run the system, we run the process. I have the most critical hire is your marketing operations leader. Yeah. Absolutely the most critical hire. Marketing operations and performance marketing, because ultimately it's the analytics out of the systems that is crucial. So even that marketing ops role isn't purely managing passively the stack. It's increasingly about the predictive analytics and the insights that we're gleaning from the data. So I'm a firm believer of, you've got to get that team right. Yeah. Without that team, you cannot get that daily dashboard, that daily real-time information that you need.
You made me very happy, Chris, because you probably don't know that I do the one-day masterclass on marketing operations. So yes, I am a fan, absolutely, and I agree with you. And seeing your dashboards, that was the other follow-up question I was going to ask. Is, to me, that's somebody who's got a performance marketer, who's able to really dig in, produce what you need. I love the fact that you were saying that using Tableau for trends, because trend analysis when you're managing pipeline, really important. Oh, yeah. And another question come in, I think probably the last one we'll take before we break, from Shakir, and he's saying, you may choose to answer this or not. Where does the majority of your pipeline come from? Is it existing or new? You talked about the importance of customer success right at the beginning, and how do you see that changing as you grow? I'd add to that, how do you see that changing in our new normal? There's a lot of discussion about who should we be talking to at the moment as marketeers.
Yeah, so on the pipeline question, we deliver, we're about 40% new logo and 60% existing customer. So the ratio of pipe creation is in that area, but clearly new logo or new business pipe creation is harder the CAC is harder, the customer acquisition costs are higher for new business, and that's really where the marketing spend and the focus of the marketing team is. We do a lot of customer marketing. It's the same team that does the customer marketing as well as the new business marketing. So I don't have a customer retention team. I believe that, you know, because we're already organized by division, they've got to own the new business and customer piece of that. So that was the pipeline question. What was the other part?
I was just saying in our new normal with, you know, what we've got to deal with now.
We have a chief customer success officer within Access who's absolutely been phenomenal and transformed the whole of the business, ex-Salesforce, ex-Microsoft. And he and I partner together on of automated customer knowledge-based portal for customers to come into for support, training, education. We were lucky that we already started that digital transformation 2 years ago. So we already have a best-in-class customer success team, customer success managers who are reaching out via portal, via digital communications. We have our own LMS, so we're able to offer training through our learning management tools, digital learning and compliance tools. We're absolutely in great shape on customer success. Our churn rates, albeit obviously ticking up because of the current situation, we are using a predictive analytics modeling again to look out 6 to 9 months before someone renews to understand their customer health score. So just as we're sophisticated on the sales and marketing side, we are equally sophisticated on the customer success side.
And as you say, you're going to get completely different trends in your hospitality, you know, to other sectors. So fabulous presentation. One very quick last question. How do your teams acquire account level insights for go-to-market and content strategy?
So account level, again, we try and populate Salesforce and the business development team, the sales team are tasked with completing out that account intelligence, if you will. We struggle with that, to be honest, because the volume of transactions and customers we do. This is the next part of our journey. When we're looking at ABM, you can't not, if you're targeting 200 strategic accounts, then it's a different ball game. Then you have to be able to reach out. There are lots of different data sources that you can tap into, but at the end of the day, it's the intelligence that sales, BD, marketing are putting into a tool, yet to be determined what that tool will be. And as I mentioned, I hinted about core HR, they're using some of these tools to actually map out the decision-making unit in a very graphical way and find out who we have relationships and who we don't. So there are those tools around. That'll be the next part of our journey.
Fantastic session, Chris. Genuinely gold standard. And I think many of us, you know, are thinking, envy, wish we'd made the decisions you made a couple of years ago. We're in such a good place. So you're reaping your rewards of all your hard work. Very well deserved. And thank you very much indeed. And I hope everybody's now going to go and do some more networking. And then there's another session kicking off at 3 on the main stage. Great session, Chris. Thank you very much.
All right.